It's Trailer Talk with the O Brother Podcast. Let's see if this trailer is treasure or trash. Welcome back to the O Brother Podcast. Mike, we're back. We're talking the Alto Nights trailer that just dropped.
Robert De Niro.
Yeah, Robert De Niro. Can you set this up? What's this film about? This is coming out March 21st, 2025. At least that's the current release date of this film.
Well, I'll read you the IMDb. It says Vito Genovese and Frank Costello, a pair of Italian-American who run the mob, separate mob families in the mid-20th century. And that's actually incorrect, which they point out if you look in the factual stuff in IMDb. They actually worked for the same crime family, which was the Luciano crime family. And people probably know the name Lucky Luciano because he's been in so many different movies.
Yeah, Boardwalk
It's basically
Empire.
a mob movie.
Yeah, Boardwalk Empire. I think he was featured in that too, as a character. In fact, I know he was. But
Yeah.
So what were your impressions of the trailer?
Well, you know, it starts with a guy coming up the stairs, okay? And I love the way De Niro walks. He has
Right.
like bowed arms.
Right, bow legs.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so you know it's De Niro coming up this stairway. And, you know, it says something like Robert De Niro as Frank Costello. And
Yeah.
he kind of walks, and then all of a sudden he walks past this other guy and sits down at a table with him. And I'm like, wait a second. Is that Pesci? Did I mistake Pesci? And it's De Niro again.
Robert De Niro, yeah.
Vito Genovese.
Did you quickly flash back to Jean-Claude Van Damme and Double Trouble or
No.
Double Jeopardy or whatever that was?
And I didn't think of the Irishman with the fake, de-aging. This is makeup.
Well, same director too, so it's kind of interesting you would point out the Irishman and Barry Levinson.
Did Levinson direct
did
that?
the Irishman, yeah, right? Or was he a producer on it?
He was a producer.
Wasn't it Scorsese?
That was Scorsese. Yeah.
Oh, so he produced it, but he has done some of my favorite films. I mean, look, Rain Man, say nothing else. And Good Morning Vietnam with Robin Williams has always been one of my favorites. Bugsy.
One of my favorites, The Natural. With
The
Robert
Natural,
Redford.
yeah. Robert Redford, right.
His first film, Diner, is very well respected. And he also did Bugsy, about Bugsy Malone.
Bugsy I mentioned, yeah. I mentioned that one. Again, right from the beginning, I was kind of riveted. This is a trailer where the way that they synchronize, first of all, they picked a good music track to be playing underneath the trailer.
I agree.
It builds along with the tension, of what you're seeing on screen. And it was like syncopated, it was very well synchronized. There's a couple where there's some gunshots and the music is like boom, 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 and right on the beat. And so I felt like, I was getting it was getting intense and more intense. And
I imagine the film is going to be very similar to that.
I would hope, but see, that's always my worry. And we've talked about this, like, are they giving us too much here? I don't know.
Yeah, that came through because there's a sequence in an elevator. And if you watch the trailer, you're going to see it, but it gives away a huge plot point. I don't know if it's a fake, if it's, getting us to think one thing and they're going to do another.
Right, a little bait and switch or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like even the title graphics that were popping up and the way they were doing that. And because so much rides on the trailers these days. I mean, they put so much into the editing.
De Niro is talking and he says to the, himself, he says, you're going down a bad path here. And as he's saying that, you see the elevator clicking down floors.
Yeah.
I thought that's really
that's
well
a nice
done.
touch. I did like to see some of the cast from The Sopranos.
A lot.
In a couple of, I want to point out Catherine Narducci, what's his name? Michael Rispoli.
Yes.
And so it was nice to see them. Anybody that's watched The Sopranos.
I'm surprised you didn't bring up Matt Servito. Is it Servito or Saviti?
Oh, Matt Servito. Yeah.
Savito.
Yeah. That's right.
He was in The Jester.
That's right.
And
That's
we
right.
talked to the director
That's
of the
absolutely
Jester.
correct. That's right. Great catch on that. See, I didn't really catch that.
Yeah.
So the casting looks, again, Barry Levinson's a heavy hitter, so he's going to get a big name cast. So.
Deborah Messing, we didn't mention. She's
Right. And see, I couldn't place who it was. I'm like, I know who that, and then it was Deborah Messing. Yeah, she looks slightly different, just the way she was made up. But
yeah, I think she's made up to look older.
So the only thing is, I just get a little nervous with, like, sometimes De Niro, and I've said this before, right? Like, I've not always been a big champion of him, right? Everybody typically thinks of him as one of the greatest actors of all time, not just our generation or whatever, like all time.
Right.
I would certainly put Al up on top of that list, Al Pacino, but De Niro, oftentimes I feel like he's doing the same character. Now, I didn't feel that way with Killers of the Flower Moon. I really liked his performance in that film. And what I see in this trailer, I like. It seems different, which is good because he's playing two different characters. So he really has
never done that before.
He's got to be able to differentiate. That's got to be difficult to do that as an actor.
That will be one of the things we will look at when we see this film is, did he pull it off?
So you're obviously going to see it then.
Honestly, this trailer is probably the best trailer I've seen in a while.
It's really well done.
And I'm excited. I like mob movies anyways. I don't know why. I always root for the mob. Like in The Godfather.
They become sympathetic characters.
Yeah.
The way that they get portrayed. This is a Warner Brothers film. The budget's $45 million. I don't know. It seems a little small to me, with
considering
right. Maybe that's why you double and use Robert De Niro for two roles. I don't know. Does he get twice his salary?
That's probably half the budget.
Yeah, and then, like I said, it's due out March 21st, 2025. So
now he's done.
I'm looking forward to it.
He's done 5 films already with Barry Levinson, and not all great. Wag the Dog was probably the best one, which was a political film.
Right.
Probably a lot of people missed, but this one looks like a really good Levinson movie.
Yeah, Levinson.
I'm excited about it.
Levinson has some pretty good acting chops himself too. I always liked his performance in Rain Man. I always thought it was a great, very natural, of course. Yeah, it's fantastic. So definitely going to check this one out. If you've seen the trailer, let us know what you think. Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are you looking forward to seeing this film? If not, why? And so drop us some comments and let us know what you think.
What about you, Dan? What's your take?
Well, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I think all the things you mentioned, the soundtrack, again, just the way, none of that may come across in the film itself, but what I see in the trailer, it's enough to get me to want to see it. As you said, this is one of the best trailers I've seen in a while. So I'm really excited to see it. And again, I'm usually a bit of a critic of De Niro, but right from the moment he was walking up the steps, just like you said, I'm like, okay, that walk.
It's on.
Who can play a mobster better than? I mean, come on, he knows the world.
He won an Oscar.
Exactly. So
the walk. I think of what was the Frankenstein. His Frankenstein walk.
Yeah.
I remember the Genesis video game having De Niro walk. It was great.
Well, let's hope the performance in this one's not as stiff, but
I hope so.
Well, there it is. Alto Nights, March 21st, 2025. I'll do it for another episode with the Oh Brother Podcast. I'm your host, Dan Smith. Alongside me, as always, my brother from the same mother, Mike Smith, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.